Yeah, I realized that once they did get that drop through, that I did have a slight weakness in having absolutely no ground forces whatsoever. So I trained a couple of ground forces just in case if the dropship got through, but I think that's like the only spot a dropship ever gets through my air defenses.
I think it's really cool that you can follow the unit like that in the replay and just follow it and let it do its thing. Do note that this is not a professional video, as I think we've already stated, and so if it's not to your liking, we apologize. But we're doing this for pleasure, sheer pleasure, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as much as we have enjoyed it.
Here's the story of the game. The unit tabs. Yeah. Any other time, you know, you'd take your money on these three. You'd be wrong, but you'd take your money on these three.
About right here, I'm already like just about drained all my resource from this island. I call like an island, so I'm gonna have to like start moving to the next island, which I actually didn't start pulling a lot of resources, and I like how they're like playing tug of war with my units because I gave them both control.
Notice the corruptors look like sentinels off the Matrix. I know you've seen the movie. It's pretty epic.
And so like my second base, I actually didn't have it like up and running for a good while. Actually probably not until like I completely like emptied out my first stronghold did I move to the second one and stuff. And as you'll see later on, which I actually find kind of humorous, is I actually by the end of the game I end up at my spawn point where I started with my with another hatchery started, and it's pretty funny. I'm back where I was started.
My original thought was that eventually the computer would farm itself out of minerals, and if it kept suiciding its units like that, you know, eventually it would have nothing to come back with. And the more I watch this replay, the more I see how bad an idea that was, as I see that, you know, we're 30 minutes in this game and they have not taken half the minerals on the field. So I'm glad it sort of worked out how it did.
Yeah, I think I kind of reminded you of that too, because Caleb is probably going to run out of minerals before they do. But if you're playing any normal player, they would have probably had some more expansions by now, and would have definitely overrun us by now.
Right here I start training my brood lords, and as you're going to see here pretty soon, basically what I do is I just stay at my base and just train units and pretty much just keep all my facilities running while I carry and landing, kind of like go and take my army that I've created and wreak havoc.
You'll see this later, but after Caleb gives me and Carrie control, me being the noob I am, me and Carrie end up playing tug of war with the corruptors, and I always send them in to their death most of the time, and Carrie's always having to pull them out for me. Here's a pretty epic battle right here. This is really kind of where we pull forward in the game.
Yeah, brood lords, scary as, you know, yeah, scary as imagining Aunt Martha in the buff. And they never end. They're the gift that keeps on giving. They, you know.
Brood Lord, the gift that keeps on giving. That's what you need to get your kid for Christmas.
Yeah. Brood Lord, you know. It's like, I don't know. It's like Lay's chips. You can't have just one. Boom!
I like how you like totally owned that little innocent creature that was like just some bystander just watching this, and you're just like, brood lord, epic.
So we're advertising now? Lay's?
Yeah. Look, more observer. Why? I don't know, but more observers.
It's funny when you watch the computer play. I mean, I know it's pretty funny watching us play, but when you watch the computer play, they just do random things. Like, they'll just have units all over the map just doing random things. It's amazing. But again, the APM is ridiculous when you look at theirs compared to ours. Makes me want to be a computer. I wish I was a computer. I wouldn't be so noobish.
I want to point out the funny fact. The guy with no buildings and no units his APM's going through the roof, you know, compared to the other two. Yeah, yeah, that's because I'm totally controlling these. Except for whenever Landon keeps taking them for me. And you can tell whenever me and Landon are fighting over units, because when I have them, they're nice purple little circles, and they look nice and pretty, and they're doing what makes sense. When Landon has them, they have these nice little teal circles, and they're doing stuff that makes no sense.
And again, I get pounded. I'm like Krillin. I'm down for the count.
Landon on count. Think.
So yeah, this if you're wondering what, because it looks like we've almost pretty firmly got this game in hand, unless, you know, they do the logical thing and go super anti-air and stop making tanks, and you know, just threw it all at us. You know, it'd be pretty easy to take us out at this point. But if you notice, there's still another good 30 minutes left in the game. That's because while we're taking our time and moving through here, the computer decides it's going to go absolutely expand crazy. You know, do what it hasn't done the whole game. There's that observer again. That thing's been 4 health. Nice.
And the shields are going back up too, man. That's like the most ultimate observer I've ever seen.
And we can see, you know, more mindless wanderings of the computer. You know, who knows what goes through their mind at this point? While their base is being destroyed, they've got a happy little SCV running around, making sure, you know, there's nothing ultra special or no nastiness going on down here.
No nastiness, no shenanigans, as Husky would put it. Okay, as you can see, this is pretty much going to go on for a while. This continuous overrunning of the Broodlords. Once we take out this last little army, we should pretty much be in control. You may be wondering kind of like how we got started playing StarCraft, and I'd kind of like to run through each of us and kind of tell you a little bit about ourselves and kind of how we got going on this thing. And maybe you're not interested in us, but you're just going to have to hear anyways. So, Carrie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I actually have no idea when I first picked up StarCraft 1. I remember a friend of mine back in elementary school brought the nice little strategy guides that Blizzard encouraged, you know, cheating with, and he brought it to school, and I started looking at it and had no idea, you know, what was going on. And at that time, I didn't even own a computer, I don't believe. Or if I did, you know, it had trouble playing Red Alert, the first one. Yeah, it was that bad. But that's when I was first introduced to it, and we finally eventually did get a halfway, well, not a halfway decent, but you don't have to be halfway decent to play the original StarCraft, but we did get one that would let me play, and, you know, since then we've been waiting on StarCraft 2, which, by taking brief interludes in between Warcraft 3 and, you know, World of Warcraft, yeah, that's right, I played World of Warcraft, I'm ashamed of it. That's about it.
Okay, how about you, Caleb?
Well, as far as StarCraft 1, that has been like so long ago. I first played StarCraft 1 probably at the ages of maybe like 10 to 12 or so. And that has been like, I'm 19 now, so that's been like so far back and stuff that like I can't even, I know I beat all 3 of the campaigns and stuff, but as far as the game itself, I only remember very little of it. I mean, I remember the basic kinds of races and units and stuff and some of the builds, but like as far as any like the storyline and stuff, I didn't remember. And then I work with Landon and Carrie, and like at work they were talking about StarCraft 2 coming out and stuff, and how it'd be cool, you know, if we like all got together and played and stuff, you know. So I'm like, okay, you know, what the heck, I'll go and I'll go out and I'll get the game, and we could just like, you know, all 3 just kind of play and stuff as like our own little group and team. And so that's pretty much what I did. How like, I mean, like I played StarCraft 1, you know, so like it'd be kind of cool, I guess, so many years later to come back to it and play StarCraft 2. So, and that's pretty much what I did.